Now you can't tell because myself and Daryl and Brian were all standing. We just all sat down right at the end, and I put my hat back on. I had my hat off for the whole song. I did, just in case. Hello and welcome everyone to Commonwealth Crate Diggers, the Canadian edition. We always talk a little bit about Canadian music, but today we're going to talk all about Canadian music. And we brought along our favorite Welshman, who probably has just as much as the rest of us when it comes to Canadian music. Again, everyone, welcome. Thanks so much. Chris, Daryl, Brian, how is everybody doing? Mr. Man, how are you today?
Yeah, it's my mate. I had to do some work today at a festival, Welsh festival. So that was kind of cool, listening to Welsh Celtic music while I was trying to work and sweltering in this 25-degree heat. But yeah, it was cool. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. Didn't do a video this week. Been trying to catch up with Brian. I'm sure he'll discuss it, but yeah, that's been my week so far, just work.
So obviously, the Scots have the bagpipe as their instrument that is, as they're well known by. Is there a Welsh instrument that you just talk about being out at a bit of a folk festival? Is there an instrument that you just kept hearing over and over that is associated with Welsh music? Good Lord, can't talk.
The Welsh are very famous for Welsh male voice choirs.
Okay.
So
cool.
You'll hear us before you see us, which will kind of describe what I'm about.
Yeah. Well, that's not good if you're attacking anybody. You don't want to be heard before you're seen, but still, I don't know, guys, I don't know if we necessarily have a specific instrument that is typically Canadian. I guess if we're whacking people with our hockey sticks.
It's a good question. I don't know the answer.
I don't think we do. Not that I can think of anyway. I mean, we've got lots of bagpipes around because we got lots of Scotsmen around and along with everything else. But, obviously it was Canada Day a couple of days ago, and I was out at some celebrations, and you know what? There was Chinese drummers, and there was Ukrainian dancing, and there was a lot of First Canadians were out and that. And then there was a nice Sikh demonstration of some of theirs because that is Canada, right? Much like a lot of places in the UK, I think, where there is a bit of a melting pot. We really, really do have a melting pot. World Cup obviously on, there was Team Canada, but there was probably a lot of people in Canada not necessarily cheering, well, a little bit for Team Canada, but then for their home country as well. So anyway, with that said, shut up, Joe. Let somebody else talk. Daryl, long trip. We've kind of got you here. I'm not sure how much we've got you here, but we've got you here, and we're glad to have you here with us.
Well, I was in the nation's former capital for an appointment in Kingston. That's one, and then I probably could have messaged Brian, but I don't have Brian's whatever. I was in Toronto, just driving through to the 400 401 cutoff in that epic thunderstorm that was going on in your way. now I'm acclimatized because the heat and the humidity in Kingston was just ungodly. I don't know. As much as I'm looking forward to going on summer vacation, if it's going to be like that all summer, I'm not looking forward to it. It was just sweltering heat, and then of course they in that area they had all these tornadoes, and I actually drove by like near Petawawa and stuff like that. Like the trees were just everywhere, all over the place, and the power was out in some of the towns along that highway on the Trans-Canada. So it's kind of weird. All to go down and find out that my son's finger is fine.
Yeah, all of that. But in the end, it's good that it was fine. But yeah, that's a long trip to go. He's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Rub some dirt on it.
But at least it's taken care of. Now he can go swimming and all that kind of stuff. He doesn't have to worry about a cast. It's all taken care of. So that's good.
Awesome.
Has he got away?
I got to stay at a friend's house that I haven't seen in a while. So yeah, I mean, I hit up a couple of record shops while I was there, including Brian's, whatever it's called in Kingston, Brian's
record option.
Record option, yeah. And his place is insane. It's the most intimidating record store I've ever been in because it's so disorganized. But he's got everything in there. It's just insane.
You just got to find it.
So Daryl, with your kids' fingers now, has he got away? Like, remember, guys, back in the day, if we broke our fingers, we'd have like that black thing on the tie around our thumb. Has he got to have anything like that?
He already had that. He already had
okay.
that. Yeah, no, the cast and everything's taken off. His hand is fine. It's all normal.
Okay. Anybody just tuning in, we are going to talk about records, but we were just discussing Daryl's son's fingers.
Well, I think based on the amount of records that were shown in our introduction, I can just pack up and leave now.
I was thinking exactly the same. Exactly the same. I thought to myself, I was going through my Discogs tonight, going through my collection, going, okay. I should just watch the intro. I probably just picked that.
Well, there's lots of good ones, and there's lots of other ones, but yeah, those are some of the big guns for sure, whatever, if you want to call them that. But I'm sure maybe some of those will come up again, and we'll talk a little bit more about them. But yeah. And Brian, how are things in the Big Smoke?
Pretty good. It cooled down this last couple of days, but this has been a challenging week because there's work obligations, there's YouTube requirements, there's the World Cup, and we had to have a new washing machine delivered. Our house is kind of crazy because you can't go around the side and you can't go down the main stairs. So you have to take it through our house, through the kitchen, out the back door, around the back, into the back stairs, into the basement, and then all the way to the front. And the first machine we ordered turns out is a half an inch wider than it says on the box. So we wouldn't fit. Had to send it back, get a new one. It was crazy. But yeah, so other than that,
I hope you had it delivered.
It was delivered.
The one thing I wanted to ask Brian was your Canadian videos you're doing at the moment. Quite fascinating. I've been kind of listening to it in the truck in work, kind of on the through my phone kind of thing. But I keep thinking I need to rewatch this when I get home, and something comes up and I keep forgetting. So that's the reason why I'm commented on any of the videos. It's because I've been like listening to it like a podcast. It's good, mate.
To be fair, it's probably a little bit too long. I probably should have stuck to like 100. But when I started making the list, I realized there's a lot of stuff there. So it's been interesting. But I'm sticking with it. I'll finish it someday, hopefully soon. Hopefully before September 2027.
Well done.
I know it's probably confusing everyone when we talk about actual warm weather in Canada, because if you watch like House Hunters International and they talk about someone from Canada moving somewhere, it's always the biggest blizzard, like it's 24/7 365 friggin' snow. It's actually kind of nice here a lot of the time, so you got to come visit. Someone should come visit from Wales, maybe.
Yes. Next year we will plan something. I promise you this time. It's just this year was just start a new job, and it would have cut my finances to a brim, and I kind of went, well, I'd rather save up and really enjoy myself and bring far too many records back that I can't get over here. And but yeah, Joe, how was your week, mate?
Week's been good. Busy at the store. Actually, I was there all week this week, other than, of course, on Wednesday, which was Canada Day. We had the day off. But yeah, a bunch of new stuff going out in the bins, which is always good. And, the people come in a little bit more when there's, when I promote the new stuff going out. So both Fridays have been fairly steady, and the rest of the week has been good as well. So it's decent, and it's nice out. I did a whole bunch of yard work yesterday, and so I'm happy just to be sitting down in the cool of the basement today. It's a good thing. So, but it turned out nice. And yeah, the week's been good, personally and at the shop. So you can't go too far wrong with a steady week at the shop. That helps.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. So welcome to the show. Joe's going to tell you exactly what's going on. I hand over the rope to you, mate. You tell everybody you're the Canadian here. So between two of us. So what are we doing?
Well, yeah, we're going to talk about, it was Canada Day, which of course is the day that we celebrate, July the 1st, when we separated from the bastards in the UK. That's not nice. That's not nice. What are we talking about? Hold on a second. Anyway, not quite. I mean, again, we have a whole bunch of people from a lot of parts of the UK that live in Canada still as well. So that's not the case, but there is a ton of wonderful music here. And whether you've had a chance to listen to some of it or not, because certain stuff, it just stays here. We've talked about it before, where bands were big where they were. We'll call it the UK and Canada, but both countries were not aware of. The Stereophonics is a perfect example for me, where I remember hearing the name somewhere along the lines, but until we started becoming friends and talking more, I couldn't have told you a Stereophonic song if you gave me $1 million. So it's a nice way.
And now all of you have an album that I sent you.
That is true.
Yeah, but it's nice because you have to, you should listen to some stuff from some different countries and try it out. So that's what it's going to be today. There's 3 of us that are from here. Another gentleman's going to join us in a little while, we hope, and he's going to have some East Coast flavor for us. That's coming up in a bit, but and then of course, like I said, we've got the one Welshman who's got, of his collection, a third of it is Canadian probably. So we're going to talk Canadian music today. Let's do a couple of quick comments. Adrian with us as always. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate that. Trevor, who I just spoke to a little while ago, because we had the third installment, the third semifinal of the Tournament of Champions for Jeopardy, which Trevor was a part of. No spoilers for that. We'll maybe have a little promo about that later on. But yeah, having a bit of lunch, some back bacon poutine, and washing it down with a little Labatt Blue. What was the topic again?
Trevor, I'm a little disappointed you went with Labatt Blue. You didn't go with Molson Canadian.
Molson Canadian, yeah. I am Canadian, yeah, exactly. And David Atkinson also joining us. I've heard it's tricky to get to see Embryonics Record Room. So there you go.
Well, there is a modest admission fee, so
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is in Canadian dollars, though, right?
That's right.
So, and then Steve Carlson joining us as well, who was on with
Steve.
you last week as well. Hello, Steve. Thanks so much for coming in. I think I might have an album from Canada. I'll have to check. I do like the maple syrup. It's very good up here. And there's lots of different flavors to try. The beer is much, much better up here as well. So there you go. I guess I haven't had a beer in 33 years. And all I had was Molson Canadian and Labatt Blue back in the day. So I assume that there are a whole bunch of good new beers out. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. And to start us off, let's go to the Welshman. Welshman, you get to start. Tell us about Canadian music. Let's start with you, my friend.
So this journey started for me. Joe is not going to like this, but this journey started for me from a popular Canadian. You could call him a money-grabbing son of a bitch. But I thought, being as we're talking about Canada music, I'd have to show this. It is the greatest hits. It's Bryan Adams. So this is where it all started for me. Kind of in the early kind of 90s for me. It's pretty much got all the hits on this one. So there he is. Somebody's telling him how much money he's just earned on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was hoping it'd come on orange vinyl, but it came on black. So stop me if you know any of these songs. I won't mention one of them because Joe hates it. But so we can't stop this thing we started. Run to You, Ultimate Love, Heaven, It's Only Love with Tina Turner, Here I Am, When You're Gone with Mel C from the Spice Girls, Cloud number 9. The one from Robin Hood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You belong to me. Some you in the summer. Joe absolutely hates. Have you? I can't even speak today. Have you ever really loved a woman? Someday, please forgive me. Cuts like a knife. The only thing that looks good on me is you. All for Love with Rod Stewart and Sting. Back to you. Please stay 18 till I die. So it's got. This is all I need from Brian. Is literally this.
Yeah.
This is all I'll ever need. And people might disagree with me on this one, but it's one of them ones you check on a Sunday, kind of cooking wherever, and you think, oh, I just want the hits, and there you go. I'd recommend this one to start with, and obviously everybody should.
It's pretty jam packed, you know. That's the thing. Unless you really want to deep dive into a little bit more of Brian, that is all you need. Now, I'll ask the panel because, and I'll do the quick version of why I don't like Brian Adams. It's overplay more than I don't enjoy some of the music from Brian Adams, and that's the quick version of it. But I'll ask you guys, because I haven't listened to it just on principle. He's got a new song out, the 50 or not. Well, I don't think he's actually calling it not the 51st state, but that's the gist of it because of the orange guy down south and all the BS in the last little while. Have you listened to it? Is it classic Adams? Is it newer Brian Adams? Is it good? Is it bad? I haven't actually heard it myself. So
Haven't heard it.
No idea.
No, Chris, you?
Well, I know that Brian Adams actually lives in Britain now.
Yeah.
So, no, I haven't. I'd stop it there. To be honest, I think he'd stop making good music kind of early 2000s. I'd say. I think the last big hit he probably had was with Mel C.
Yeah.
Over here. I know there's a big, massive fan base in Britain for Brian Adams. He does the Royal Albert Hall and that kind of stuff. I think he's got a live album from the Royal Albert Hall out. But me and Liz were meant to go and see him live. I think it was last year. And Liz is in the National Orchestra of Wales. She plays the woodwind sections. So it was either watch Brian Adams or earn £300. So I said, you go and play.
I'll take the £300. Yeah, I haven't heard the single yet.
Yeah.
It may be good. It may not be. I don't know. It's if nothing else, it's patriotic because again, it's kind of like, no, we're not going to be your 51st state, blah, blah, blah. And we're not going to get too far into that. But yeah, so there you go. And again, don't hate the man. Just am tired of a lot of his songs. But he does put on a fantastic show. So if you get another opportunity and Liz is not playing, go and see him because you'll enjoy it. Because I mean, he does have, obviously, you just listed him off. He's got a ton of hits. He really does. It's all good stuff. So okay, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, so my friend John went in. He said, "Oh, he was absolutely fantastic, Chris. You know, you missed such a good show." And then I blocked him for a week.
And that was it. Yeah. Shut up, leave me alone. Yeah, there you go. All right,
You'll come back around. You'll come back around.
He will. Yeah, Daryl. It looks like you maybe pulled a couple things out there. You got a little bit of time to do that while Chris was talking. So, what have you got for us, my friend?
Well, you know, I mean, why don't we talk about a Canadian band from Newmarket, Ontario, that has an East Coast feel to it, with a Scottish lead singer. We might as well why don't we just do it? Why don't we just do it?
Exactly. There you go. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Yeah. Tell people.
It's that 80s sound. I mean, those of you that have been watching this for a while, you'll know this is my favorite Canadian band. They released 3 albums in the 80s, then a greatest hits CD, which was what I was most familiar with as a teenager, called Airtime, I think it was called. I used to babysit this kid. His dad was a manager of the mine that my dad worked at. So I made buku bucks as a grade 9 babysitter when I'd go there, and I would just play the CD. And the kid loved it. This was the album that took me was the hardest one for me to find. I had to buy it on Discogs because I think there's only 2 versions of it. This one's from Spain, if memory serves me correctly. But yeah, if you're from the States or the UK, you'll probably be familiar with Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone. That was their big hit I think it was 85, 86. They were played all over Canadian airwaves in the 80s and the 90s. This one here has Blinded, Animal Heart, Rhythm of Your Love. It also has My Town, which which has none other than Sir Rod Stewart backing vocals on it. So, that's Alan Frew. He's, like I said, he's from Scotland originally. When you listen to him in interviews and stuff, I mean, he still has a pretty heavy Scottish accent. And speaking of bands that have recently made singles, there was a song they just did. I think it's called My Canada. I have to look it up again. Anyway, it was a single that was released recently. So the way that I would describe Glass Tiger, if you're not familiar, they have a distinct 80s Canadian sound, but kind of with an East Coast flair, even though they're from Newmarket, Ontario, which I would argue is now just part of Toronto, because I think the buildings and everything have just reached there, but it used to be its own distinct area.
Right.
So that's how I would describe them. What would you say, Chris? I had you listening to a few of their songs.
I really enjoyed them, to be honest. It kind of reminded me a bit more of like a pop indie kind of band, transitioning from the 80s to the 90s. If I was going to put them down in that kind of era for me,
have you chosen to buy the cool looking vinyl that was on Amazon?
Yes, and it's still on my Amazon vinyl list. What I may do is I may play it a few times and then just think, screw it, I'll sell it to Daryl because he'll enjoy that more. Okay, so Brian, the front is obviously a tiger kind of print, and they've actually put it's like Daryl is like I can't remember. Is this splattered vinyl?
Yeah, it's like an orange and black tigery splatter kind of look.
Yeah.
I already have it. It's the which album is it? I forget which album it is anyway.
I thought you were the damn fan. What's wrong with you, man?
It's just because I just can't justify buying it. I already own the album.
Oh, but it's okay for me to buy and send it to you. Of course it is. Right. Joe, make me big and I'll show everybody what the hell I'm talking about here.
All right. Oh, there's Daryl. Hold on. Wait a sec. There you go. Okay, go. Very nice.
Yeah.
Tigery splatter.
It's a thin red line album.
Oh, now he remembers.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a question of Jeopardy.
I couldn't remember if it was that one or Diamond Sun. Settle.
There you go.
At least I got the Nickelback question right.
He did. That's right.
And he wasn't even wearing his t-shirt.
All right, let's get a couple of comments because we've got a bunch. Adrian brings up Rush. I don't have any pulled out because I'm going West Coast, and Rush obviously from the middle of the world here in Canada. So we'll probably maybe see some of that. A lot of good bands and solos from Canada. That is correct. We've got Charlie from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. If you ever need a Canadian to talk about Welsh bands, I love at least three. And only know of three in total, but it's a start. Charlie's awesome. Charlie was just on Rock and Roll Jeopardy as well. So everybody from that just is joining us today as well. So because I think Richard's here somewhere, but Mike as well. Greetings, Earthlings, heard through TMZ. Brian's going over Niagara Falls in a barrel. I'm not sure. Brian looks a little surprised by that, but I guess that the date is unconfirmed as of yet.
I did it last year, so I have to repeat.
Oh, you did? Yeah, that's how you got there last year. Just go over the falls and get there.
That's right.
Ron Arrest with us. Hello, thanks for joining us, David. Brian Adams attracts a lot of inverse snobbery. Brian Adams attracts a lot of things, but we'll leave it at that. Again, I don't hate the man. I just am tired of listening to him. Hello from Morton, Brian, Chris, Daryl. Me, I don't count, I guess. I'm not sure. Thanks, Morton. Not a problem. That's fine. Warp Dog with us. Good day to three fellow hosers, and hello, Chris, as well. And let's see, Mike. Patty got us tickets to see Adams in Hamilton in late August. Yeah, he's doing a Canadian tour. He still does a lot in Canada. Doesn't live here, but he does a lot. Let's see. Looks great. I mean, greet. And There you go. From Niagara region to Southern Ontario, by the way. All right, there you go. That's where Warp Dog's from. A fellow Canuck as well. 4 silver foxes. I don't know if you can count this as silver, but we'll take it. When's the last time you were called a fox? Take it regardless of whether it's correct or not. So don't know you from Adam. Sorry, eh? That's not a problem. That's fine. Morton, that's okay. Just remember, I'm kind of running the show today. I can kick you out if I want to. I won't. Let us move on. Brian, let's go. Let's see what do you got. You've always got some great Canadian bands. Let's see what you got.
I have to start with the most popular band on the planet right now. A record. These are the last 2 records I bought. They have never been shown in a video before, and Steve Carlson talked about them today. So I thought I would just throw these out there 2 at a time. The new, this band.
I almost came this close on my trip. I almost did to buy those.
Angine de Poitrine. And so, hey, I mean, I guess my only piece, I guess the only way I'm embarrassed by this is that I didn't have an earlier pressing of these records. And that's sort of a failing on my part. But I went out and got them because I did enjoy what I've seen. And you can't escape. The social media deluge on this band is enormous. And it's quite interesting. From Saguenay, obviously, in Quebec. Volume 1 and Volume 2. Sort of like, I guess they're described as math rock or maybe a bit prog, microtonal guitar with tape loops and interesting drum patterns. And also, I think it should be said that they didn't invent microtonal music. That has come up. Even King Lizard and the Gizzard Wizard did not invent it. But it's interesting that they've made a go of it. I am curious to see what happens when they record a new record. I'd be curious because it's I don't know. I've been reading some comments and there's an interesting backlash. Usually backlash takes many years. I remember the YouTube backlash. U2 was around, everyone loved them, and then suddenly everyone hates. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people hate them. So there was already that sort of backlash on this band, which I find quite interesting because until a few months ago, no one knew who they were. So I find they went through the stages of backlash quite quickly, and I think it's fair to say they probably are more famous than they would have been without the costumes. I think that's probably obvious, but I'm not taking away anything from them really. The only thing that bugs me though is the feet. I don't really need to see the feet moving around on stage. That really is irritating to me, but really fascinating. I've enjoyed these. These are really good. If you, I don't know, you just sample it. If you don't like it, you're not going to like it. But from the first time I heard it on the KEXP broadcast, I thought it was really intriguing, and I took a while to buy them because they obviously hadn't been in press for a while. So I bought them quite recently and quite enjoying them. So in uninventive names, Volume 1 and Volume 2, but I think they're really interesting. I don't know. I think they're great. So
can I just be perfectly honest with you?
Sure.
That's what we like.
I just can't get into them. I've tried a few times streaming it.
Yeah.
I just and I want to like them because the guitarist seems like a good guitarist. Like, seems like a really good guitarist. We'll find out news to come. It's actually Daft Punk.
Yeah. It's the latest iteration of, but
Brian, I think Brian, you're spot on with there's no middle ground with Angine de Poitrine. You're either going to like them or you just don't. Yeah. And when I first saw it, it was on that same exact program that you were talking about. I saw it on YouTube though, and we were watching it at work, and it was the same thing where me and one of my coworkers were excited for this because we thought it was the coolest math rock ever. And then there was other staff members that are like, what is this crap? And I've heard this throughout the VC. Like, there are those that as soon as they see a costume, they're out.
Yeah.
They don't want to see like, the Slipknots, not that they're Slipknot or anything, but the Slipknots, the even to some extent, like people that don't like Red Hot Chili Peppers for the same reason, just the whole get up that they do. But I think it's hilarious. I think the fact that they think that they're aliens literally communicating with human beings is
I mean, it's not really new. I mean, Kiss wore makeup and costumes decades ago, and that didn't seem to prevent them from being popular. I don't know. I'm going to see what happens after. I played them many times. I really quite like it, so we'll see what happens in the future. But I think they're quite cool.
Yeah, we've sold a lot of it through the store, and you're right on the number of pressings. I think this is the 5th already. Yeah. I don't know how many they've started with each time, but I think it's the 5th at least. I believe it's something.
It tells you on the back. These are both. I think there's. Yeah, I could. Well, it's Roman numerals. I guess it's 5th.
Yeah.
6 or 6. Yeah, whatever. I think this one has more pressings because it's older.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
The way that I see it is if this is what it takes to get, I guess, kids and teenagers back into listening to quirky, different type of music, then as a Canadian, I'll take that.
Yeah, and it's
Any
been a
day of the
little
week.
bit of everybody that's come in and bought them as well. It's been 20-year-olds, it's been 50-year-olds. It's been a little bit of everybody. We've sold, not tons and tons and tons. We don't have, a big business on the new stuff, but we've sold quite a bit. So it's good. It's good to see. And coming from a Kiss fan, the gimmick, the dressing up, the whatever, that's just part of it. You still have to have the music. You still have to have the other part of it to go along with it.
True.
You can look all the polka dot you want. If nobody's digging it, and there's lots of people that aren't, but if nobody is, then you're not going to go anywhere, regardless of what you look like. So,
was it just released on black vinyl, or are there variants of this as well, Joe?
No, I think
he's just pulled himself off the stream.
I think I think it's only black. It's only
Okay.
black. Yeah, but they have nice labels though. You haven't seen that. Yeah, so I think this is the 6th pressing. The other one is the 4th. I think. Anyway, I'm happy with it.
Somebody said Bryan Adams. Yeah, somebody said Bryan Adams again, so I had to get out. Just kidding. Let's go. We got a few comments. You were asking Brian on the color. I think it is only black. I don't think I've ever seen any other as of yet. Anyway, so how far do we go back? Angine du Poitrine. What does it mean?
It means angina pectoris, apparently.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And so Morton helping us out there. And then Sleep Token and Ghost, maybe to a lesser extent, have people hitting on anonymous bands of the rip these days. So yeah, there's a little bit of that going on. Again,
it's really funny because I love Sleep Token and I love Ghost as well. I think Sleep Token is amazing.
Yeah,
I just the drummer for that band is just, whether you like the music or not, he's just insane how fast he can play. I don't know if you ever seen him on Drumeo. They actually got he goes by the name of Two. Two. That's his stage name is Two. But he's just absolutely fascinating to see how fast he can play. So I think that might be part of the thing with Angine de Poitrine too, is just they just have a way of playing that's unique.
Yeah,
quick.
And you got to cut through the noise out there. There's so much out there you got to cut through, because you can be the best musician in the world, and if you're not getting noticed, you're not getting noticed. A is for Alice, B is for Bob, C is for Canadian. That's it.
Well done, Steve.
Because of the costumes, not digging the music, guys. But we'll see if they have legs. Exactly, that's true. KXP Brian. I'm not into the band though. Our good friend Mike, David, they obviously haven't been taking fashion advice from Brian. No logo, embryonic. So there you go. Yeah, exactly. And let's see. Big fan of their 3rd album. I assume we're back to Sleep Token, I think, because there it is. It's in brackets at the end, Joe. Pay attention. Okay, so kind of caught up. If I've missed anybody, I apologize. I'm trying to keep up with the comments, trying to make sure everybody gets involved, because we're nice Canadian boys, and we're just polite that way. My turn.
Nice Canadian boys and a Welshman.
And a Welshman. But that's okay. We'll take you. Like I said, there's lots of Welshmen in Canada as is. So I am going to go with all Western Canadian bands. For those that aren't aware, here's your geography lesson. Canada is big. We are the 2nd largest landmass, second to Russia or whatever you want to call it. And you can't just go I can't just go and visit Brian or Daryl tomorrow. It would take me at least a couple of days, 3 to get to, 3 or 4 actually. So it's fairly big. Anyway, I'm going to talk about Western Canada. So far, we've talked about Eastern Canada for the most part. And what did Chris show again? Oh yeah, Brian. Brian's actually Western Canada. He is originally from British Columbia, but now living in the United Kingdom. I'm going to start in Manitoba, which is kind of smack dab in the middle. And in fact, the center of Canada is somewhere just a little bit east of Winnipeg. And I'm going to go with, now again, this is one that probably the panelists will know, and then maybe some of my Canadian friends that are in the comments. But The Watchmen, live and in stereo. I should have more of their stuff. I don't. They're kind of hard to come by. A lot of the times on the back of a Canadian album, you will see Factor, which is on there somewhere. Where the hell is it? It says Factor on there somewhere. And then it's also got this little symbol. So we'll teach you about this today. Back in the day, and still, Maple was for, and I should know all of this, artist, producer, writer, and I can't remember what the L's for, but you had to have one or two of those. What you had to have, but to get played back in the day on Canadian radio, they really tried to promote Canadian music. So if you had one or two of those Maple parts to your song or your album, you got played a little bit on Canadian radio. And back in the day, we'll call it the 70s for me, there weren't that many Canadian artists. There were quite a few, but there weren't that many. So you got to hear a lot over and over and over again. And then Bryan Adams came around in the 80s. But Watchmen, good stuff. Great musicians out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Good stuff. Alternative, for the lack of it. Chris, you probably like these guys. I don't know if comparing them to, just because we talk about them often, Stereophonics is comparable or not. But just good stuff. Guitar, well written, good lyrics, good stuff. So the Watchmen and my shiny, because I didn't take it out of the You know what? It's still going to be shiny because I think this one is actually still in the shrink. So it's still going to be shiny, but it's got the shrink on the outside, not completely wrapped up. So the Watchmen out of Winnipeg, I think Winnipeg specifically, Manitoba. Good stuff.
They are the only concert I've ever been to that I got kicked out of.
That you got kicked out of? Well, there you go. So
there was a guy that came to me and a couple of friends to they came to the campus pub that the school that I went to for university. They came and did a performance, and they did. I wish that, I don't think it's been released on vinyl, is the In the Trees album, which is the one that has Boneyard Tree, which is an amazing track. But yeah, no, let's just say that a little bit of alcohol got in the way, and we got kicked out.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, good stuff. And back out on the road a little bit, I think. I know that they're playing, actually, I think they're playing in Toronto in November, and then some other dates as well. They're almost falling into that category of there's a, in Canada, because it is nice here in the summer, we talk about it. There's a lot of festivals go on in Canada from weekend to weekend, and that next generation, it used to be a lot of the 70s bands would make up these small festivals. Now it's a lot of the 80s and the 90s bands. So they're falling into that category. So you probably get a chance to see them again, Daryl. I don't know if you want to get drunk and get kicked out again, but you'd get another chance to see them at some point anyway.
Well, just say this. It wasn't me specifically that got kicked out. It was the friend that we were with that got kicked out, and then we ended up having to go with him.
All right, that's fair. And we 100% believe you. We really do. We do. All right, Chris, you're up. What do you got for us, sir?
Okay, my favorite Canadian artist of all time and the greatest singer-songwriter that Canada has ever produced.
Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brian's going to argue. Okay, go ahead.
Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting this album for such a long time. Managed to pick it up on eBay, of all places, from Canada. But I just love this guy. I think he's phenomenal. Like, I think he's fantastic from start to finish. Every album I picked up so far, which is quite a few now, I think I'm on 8 or 9 albums at this point. There's a couple of live albums I've got, some greatest hits, best ofs. But Gordon Lightfoot, this is Sundown. It's fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, you got High and Dry, Too Late for Praying, Seven Island Suit, you got Careful Highway, Sundown, The List, Is There Anyone Home? You got The Watchman's Gone, Somewhere in the USA, Circle of Steel. This is a release from 1974. So this may be a original pressing, but I'm not quite sure. I think me and Joe talked about this. I wasn't sure if this was a first pressing or not, but I absolutely love this. Sounds amazing. My mum introduced me to Gordon Lightfoot when I was a kid, and it kind of, a few years ago, somebody in the vinyl community, I wonder who it could be. Mentioned it, and I was like, oh, okay, memory unlocked. But I'm on the road of kind of collecting a bit of Gord as we go along. Pity I didn't see him live, but yeah, I just love his music. So, bit of Gordon Lightfoot, and this is Sundown, my latest album that I picked up from him. So,
on Friday there was a young man, and I'm gonna say his grandma, just because she looked of grandma age, were in the shop. So he was 20 something.
yeah,
He was from the States, so he's up visiting grandma, and she said, I want to give him something Canadian. What should I get him? And I said either Gordon Lightfoot and or as well Leonard Cohen, because I think if you're going to, with the question of what should I give my American grandson who's in his 20s, that is something 100% Canadian, those two gentlemen. I mean, there's lots of others, and we'll talk about a bunch of them, but those two would be the ones that they were the ones that came to my mind anyway when the question came up. So
I think when it comes to Canada music, people will turn around. I guarantee that a lot of people not so much in the chat because they know about Canada music, but there might be one or two might turn around and go, I didn't realize they were Canadian.
Sure. Yeah.
It's kind of, and I've been in that situation when I started, watching Joe and Brian and Daryl and there's a few others, and I go in, shit, they're Canadian. I always thought they were American. And the worst thing you can say to a Canadian is, oh, I'm sorry, I thought they were American. And then they just completely blank you and go, okay, we'll move on to the next question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So, it's I get that, but again, I think that of the if you were to, I'm just repeating myself. If you were to say Canadian, they come to mind, along with some others, but they are definitely two of the tops for sure. There's the third from the Rock and Roll Jeopardy earlier. That is Richard with us from Richard Vinyl Tap House. I'm assuming he's talking about Daryl going to go and see a show and get drunk. I'm not sure. It could just be a general get drunk, coming from the guy whose channel is named after a tap house. So there you go.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that at my age.
Well, I think we want to see it. Actually, I'd like to see it the day after. That would be the fun part. So Warp Dog always comes to my rescue when I throw out some useless bullshit and can't tell you the whole story. He comes and he fills in. So CanCon, any two of the four symbols count as Canadian content, which got you on the radio here. I wasn't aware of those. I assume maybe we're going back to, I don't know who we're going back to. Sorry, I try and get to the comments as quick as I can, but sometimes I'm a little bit behind. There you go. Music, artist, production, and lyric. That would be Maple. See, he just needs to come on with us at some point, because he always either that or, he just comes to be my backup for me. So, and then hello, Richard. And speaking of hello, there's our Eastest Coastest guy, the guy that's actually the closest to Chris Mann, kind of, I think, actually. Yeah, he is officially the closest to Chris Mann. I argued whether he was closer to Chris than me. I did the math. He's a little bit closer to me, but he is the closest to you, I think. Anyway, of these. Hi, Curtis.
Curtis,
how far
welcome to the show.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late. I'm the terrible guest. I am so sorry.
Not at all. Not at all. We got to do the things we have to do. If our lovely wives are asking us to do things, we go. And we say, yes, dear, and we go and do them, because A, we're good husbands, and B, we're nice Canadians.
And C, we want to buy some records to keep them happy. So
one day off a week is hard, man. A lot to do.
Yeah, exactly. Just off the boat once again. Yeah, for sure. So we'll get to some more comments, guys. I'm not forgetting about you over there. But while we've got Curtis with us, tell us a little bit about what's going on Young LP Lovers, and then show us something Canadian, eh?
Oh gosh. Okay.
Or do you want a second?
No, well, I'm going to need a second to pull some stuff, but real quick, going on musically, not a lot on the channel. I'm in the middle of planning the summer vinyl tag. I got a week left in fishing season, so I'll get that together, and then I've got a bunch of concerts and things over the summer. So I think I'll show a lot of those artists that I'll be taking in over the summer. All right.
Okay, I'll let you go do that, and we'll go to Brian, who is, I believe, up next. I'm what do you want?
Brian.
I know it's Brian. I know. You're the one that doesn't freaking know who the next guy up is. I know who's up, but now I'll get it wrong, I'm sure. So yeah, let's go to Brian. Your turn, sir.
Well, I guess I should say I was trying to avoid obvious things, which is why I didn't choose Rush, but I did choose iconic, obvious Canadian artist, which I think has to be mentioned. That is the Tragically Hip. This is a compilation called Your Favorites, which has 19 tracks. And interestingly, this was put together by fan voting. They're allowed to vote about what tracks they would like. And it was originally released on a compact disc, but they released it on two LP sets. So there's 4 records in here. I think they should have done a box, but we never know. Yeah. Anyway, probably the most Canadian band ever, if you could say that, I guess. I think the BBC referred to them as the most Canadian band ever. Very popular here with Tellet Stadiums, but south of the border, maybe. Of course, they had pockets of areas where they're really popular, but smaller venues. So they never really made it big in the United States. And tragically, the singer Gord Downie died of glioblastoma several years ago, and that last concert was broadcast nationally in Canada. It was quite a moving experience. And of course, if you haven't seen it, even if you don't know the band, the documentary series, which it was either on Netflix or Prime, I can't remember which, was very, very well done.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the band, I think you'd find it really interesting. So, they wrote a lot of really iconic Canadian songs with references to Canadian geography and history and social events. And I think they maybe could do with some more fame outside of Canada, but in any case, a really fantastic band who I guess I didn't really pay attention to them early on. It was kind of like a later experience. After 2 or 3 records, I kind of was more interested in them, but I find them really quite interesting and quality music. Gord Downie always has very literate lyrics, and I think the band sounds good. And it's kind of tragic that they're no longer around. Tragic, as Tragically Hip, that's kind of weird, but this is a great collection. If you ever find these two sets, that covers just an incredible amount of great music that we hear on the radio to this day. There's so many tracks. One of their albums, I think this fully completely, there's 7 tracks on this one album because that album was so good. There's just 7 tracks on there. Yeah. Anyway, fantastic.
It is 10th anniversary of that concert, so I think there's some special versions of the show coming out where you get to see it in entirety, and then maybe some behind the scenes stuff in that as well. And then there's also going to be a live version of that show, and then maybe some other stuff from that same tour, because again, Brian mentioned it quickly, but the lead singer passed away of brain cancer, we'll call it. No, not brain cancer. What was it again? Sorry, what did you say?
Glioblastoma. It is what it is. It's the same thing that Neil Peart died of.
Right. Yes. So, so they did one last hurrah across Canada for the most part. And then they finished off in Kingston, which is their hometown. So this double live that's coming out, or maybe triple live, I'm not exactly sure. I haven't seen the full details yet. I haven't been able to order it, but it's going to be good because I'm sure they knew that was the last tour. It was not, this is a farewell tour. And then they came back 6 or 7 times. They knew that was the last tour. So I think they took all the precautions is the wrong word. They took all of what they had to make sure that they probably documented that quite well. And that, as you said, that documentary does a very good job, but I'm looking forward to the album of the live versions of it as well. And they're a little polarizing. There's a lot of Canadians that are not massive fans, and then there's those of us that are. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I think Curtis saw the Tragically Hip on their last hurrah, didn't you, Curtis?
I did not. I'm not on their last hurrah. I've seen them live, but I was in Kingston the night of their last hurrah. Right. I was in town for a wedding. So do any of you remember where you were the night of their last show?
Yes. Yeah.
I was gonna say that I think most Canadians, at least that are music enthusiasts, were either watching it or knew exactly where they were when that last concert was performed. Because I know like my wife and I weren't the hugest fans of the Tragically Hip, but even I was like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. Like, you're never going to see this happen ever again, to the point where, Justin Trudeau, former prime minister, was present. There was all kinds of famous people that were there. And it was an epic concert. Like, there's no,
it was all
I think you can argue that.
Yeah, his voice, I have to say though, his voice wasn't in top shape as it had been in the past. You could tell he was unhealthy. So, but
Yeah.
even with that, it was an incredible evening for sure.
Definitely. And you know, there's another Canadian iconic band out there right now playing that's getting a little bit of grief because, and that's Rush getting a little bit of grief for replacing one of the main parts and pieces. The Tragically Hip have never tried to do that. They have gone out, they've played a little bit. Was it Chantal Kreviazuk? I can't remember. There was a female that did a little bit of Gord stuff. There's been a little bit of that, but they've never gotten to the point, and really don't think they will get to the point of we're going to go out and we're going to call ourselves the Tragically Hip. Paul Lanois is coming here in the next little while, and he probably plays some hip songs in his repertoire and things like that. But I don't think we're ever going to see that again. I didn't think we'd ever see Rush again either, but I think it's just a little bit different when it comes to Gord being out in front and singing versus Neil, who was the best, and Annika taking over for him. And
I think Joe, in the case of Rush too, I think Geddy Lee and the band, they were very calculated in how they went about doing this. They didn't just pick up the next door neighbor as their drummer. I think they were very calculated in if it was going to be a good fit or not, and if it wasn't, I don't think they ever would have come back together. I don't think.
Yeah, and it's not like they went out and got. I mean, she's not a no name by any means, but I think a lot of people, when they heard her name, had to go and look and see what she's done previous. It's not like they went and got, say, Kenny Aronoff or a bunch of different well-known drummers that probably could have filled in. They made a logical and a calculated choice, and from all accounts, she's doing great. And why wouldn't she? Why the hell would those two pick someone who wasn't going to be a great fit? So, but,
yeah,
exactly. Okay, Curtis, where'd you go? You're up, but we're not. We'll go to Daryl. Daryl, you go, and then we'll come back to Curtis when he's ready. There you go.
Okay. So, Chris, you mentioned Gordon Lightfoot, and I mean, I'm assuming, Brian, that at some point you're going to talk about the other big, singer-songwriter Canada. But I think that there's at least a third one that I think is, in my opinion, criminally underrated and hardly ever talked about when it comes to Canadian male singer-songwriters from the 70s. And that is, maybe I'll show a different album just so that you can see who he is. But this is Valdy on the Hometown Band album. And he's a songwriter that my dad had when I was growing up as a kid. They did... why am I running a blank on the name of some of the songs? He did like Simple Life, Peter and Lou, Rock and Roll Song. These were all big hits by him, but he was very overshadowed by Gordon Lightfoot specifically at the time, right? Because they existed at the same time. But Valdy is his name. If you want to know his real name, it's Paul Valdemar Horsdal. He just has a very distinct singer-songwriter, Canadian folky kind of music. I think, Chris, if you like Leonard Cohen, you like Gordon Lightfoot, I think you would like Valdy. Very similar vibe in the 1970s. I think that he's just been overshadowed by some of the other big names. I'm just going to see if I can find a different album that has his photo on it. Yeah, so I would almost even argue that he's kind of like more like 60s and 70s, like hippie folk.
Okay,
you would say as well. Right. So I think this one is more of a live album. This one has Countryman on it. It's got a few other songs on it, but so Valdy, give it a shot if you haven't heard of him.
Fucking hell!
I think I'm sticking to Central Canada here because he's from Ottawa.
Have you, Joe? Sorry, Daryl. Have you seen the price of that album that you've got over there?
No.
Have you? Oh shit! It's £200. That's $400.
Wow.
Don't get an OG copy. See if you can find a repress because you know how much I paid for this one?
Probably about $20. No one knew.
Nothing, because it came from that.
The rental
radio
place.
Station.
The rental place. The new Blockbuster of
The
vinyl.
rental place.
Yes.
You know what? Actually, that one is fairly plentiful here. So the next time
Okay.
there's a care package to Wales,
Okay.
it'll be in it. And I'll throw in a
There's
couple more
one actually,
Baldies
Chris.
as well.
There's one called Valdi. It's called Passport. That's the greatest hits one.
Joe?
I don't know if I have that. I've got Hometown. I'm not sure. I'll see what I can do for you. How's that sound? All right. Let's do a couple quick comments here. Back to Mike from a while ago now. Gordon Lightfoot album songs remind me of AM radio. Yes, 100% at the Cottage, which is the house at the lake. For those that don't know the word cottage, I think everybody does. But in Ontario, very nice. Mike, Canadian ties for sure. Is actually a Canadian. He just lives in Buffalo now, right? Edmund Fitzgerald was the first Gordon Lightfoot record I bought on 7-inch. Still have it. A classic from Mr. Atkinson. Chris, if you have a small maple leaf on the back cover, top corner, check. That issue is from around 78, 84. That is on your Gordon Lightfoot. Otherwise, it's a Ouija. Might give you a clue to its origin. We got more. Be happy to, Joe. Come on. I think maybe that's it. I know these comments are from a little while ago, so I'm trying to think back. Warp Dog has it all, knows it all. Yes, he does, which is good. Cheers, Curtis, from Mike. And I saw the hip about 20 years ago. Guy across the street from us is a Canadian. That's good. There's a Tragically Hip tribute band called Strictly Hip, and they're very popular. Lots of Canadian bands loved here in Buffalo. Being just across the border. My favorite Tragically Hip cover band is Hip Replacements. The Hip Replacements. That's
a brilliant name for a band.
I'm not making that up. There's the band out there called themselves the Hip Replacements. So, you know what? We've got some other comments, but we'll get back to. I'll try and get to them all. But now that he's kind of, I think, got his stuff together a little bit. Yeah, you're good to go. All right, let's go. Let's go to our friend Curtis.
All right. Thanks for your patience, folks.
Oh, of course.
So what I thought I'd start off with is, kind of, you've already alluded to this a little bit, the bigger names, right? And I was thinking like who are the Mount Rushmore, so to speak, of Canadian music? And it's a hard one to pick. So I've looked at see what Rolling Stone said. They have a list of the greatest Canadian groups. And so I thought I'd show them, and then I'll give you my top 4.
Sounds good.
All right. So they've got Joni listed at 1, Joni Mitchell.
Yep. Up there. Yep.
Neil at 2. Rush at 3. And Leonard Cohen at 4.
At 4. Yeah.
That's a pretty respectable list, I think. It's no arguments there. I think for my list, I certainly went through, a deep exploration of Leonard Cohen's catalog. But I don't find myself returning to Leonard Cohen a lot. So, and similarly with like Rush, I love a lot of Rush tracks, but I'm not like a deep Rush fan. Like there's a lot of the catalog that I don't really know that well, don't really like that well. So, and the same with Joni. Blue is an amazing album, but I don't go to don't turn to Joni very much. I'm keeping Neil though.
Yeah,
I love myself Neil. Neil's staying on my Mount Rushmore, so I'm keeping Neil. Brian just talked about the hip. I'm keeping the hip. I'm putting the hip on my top 4. So the hip goes on here. I'm putting in from the East Coast. I got to have East Coast representation on my Mount Rushmore. We're going to go with some Great Big Sea. It's an album I don't show very often. Great Big Sea, for those who are unfamiliar, kind of Celtic folk, kind of Celtic rock, in the kind of vein of a little Poguish, like the Pogues a little bit, maybe like what are the Dropkick Murphys a bit, or what's the other group I'm thinking of? Anyway, that kind of Celtic vibe to it, right? Great traditional out of Newfoundland. So great party music, kitchen party music there for Great Big Sea. They are rolling, not they, they've since disbanded, but Alan Doyle, this is one of Alan's solo albums, picked up at the thrift store for $4. So he's rolling through town. I don't think I'll be able to see him though, because I'm at somewhere else when he's in town, but yeah, so Alan Doyle there. And the fourth one on my Mount Rushmore.
I know what he's going to say.
I don't think you do.
Right, go on.
I'm not going there this time.
Okay.
I thought about it. It just hasn't had the impact long enough in my life. This one goes back to the 90s. So this goes back to like my high school days. And so because of that, Peace.
Yes.
Unlikely Mount Rushmore for most people, I think.
Yeah.
But because they have such a they've been around for so long, that I just really they've been with me for so long that I'm putting them on there for me. So for those who don't know Our Lady Peace, kind of like an alt rock.
Sure. Yeah.
What would you? Yeah.
REM, like maybe a little bit if you had to pick someone a little, obviously known, maybe a little bit. But you look at that album, which is the greatest hits, it's a double, and there's a lot of hits on there. I mean, there's some, not filler, that's not the right word. There's some other stuff that, if you listen to their albums, you would put on there. But there's a lot of really great music on there.
I've looked. Curtis sent me a message. I looked, didn't I, Curtis? And I was like, nope, not available in the UK.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah.
So that's where I thought I'd start out. Just a kind of a little overview of what Rolling Stones would put on the top four and where I would put it, my top four. So
I think a tying factor through all of those, including the ones that you added, is songwriting. Like you think about those songwriters, Leonard and Joni and Neil Young, like all of that, the songwriting is just phenomenal. And a lot of it is storytelling. Now, obviously, there's a lot of great big albums where songwriting is part of it for sure. But that was definitely a thread through those, the artists and the songwriting on those artists that you had up there. So
I don't think I didn't quite meet the Leonard Cohen standard of songwriting, maybe. I don't know. But yeah.
There you go. All right. Let's see. Let's do a couple more comments here. Yeah, that one I did. I had a lot of fun in Kingston, great town, second only to Brockville. That's Mike. Kingston's got something in the water. I say it every time that town gets mentioned. Tragically hip. Glorious Sons out of Kingston as well. Bryan Adams, originally from Kingston. Headstones, is Headstones out of Kingston too? I think, I can't remember, but there's a couple big ones out of Kingston. So my favorite song by them, I think that is somewhere along the line. Oh yeah, there you go. My favorite song as well. I actually have Locked in the Trunk of the Car. Does that make me hip? Yes, it does, David. Correct. And it is a great song on a very outstanding album. There you go. There's that. Greetings, Chris. The rest of us can go to hell, I guess. I'm not sure. That's okay. Oh, wait, there's another comment below. And then maybe he says everybody else. Nope. Anyway, any relation to Rachel Roberts, Chris? Who did you show that he would be talking about? Any idea? Because you were talking about Gordon Lightfoot last, right?
I showed Gordon Lightfoot and Bryan Adams.
Unless you look like Rachel Roberts, I don't know that. Anyway, all Rush is essential. Even the early stuff where Geddy sounds like a cat being chased out the door with a blowtorch. Yeah. Geddy is definitely one of those voices. Take him or leave him for sure. Off topic. Are you guys on the social media platform? I think you are all a great fit for that platform. Yeah, I think we're all out there somewhere or whatever. But
we do have a Facebook page.
Yes, and an Instagram that isn't worded the same way because someone originally built it and screwed it up. So I think we're still on Instagram, but we're not. It's not. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you can find us. So look for us, right?
Yeah, it's at the Crete Diggers. Crete Diggers on Facebook. There's a page out there. If you fancy liking it and following us, we usually put some clips up. We'll put up whatever's up and Curtis will show us what he's had, and it's quite fun. It's quite interactive, and it's quite good. So
There you go. All right. So back to the original question of the Welsh actress Rachel Roberts. Are you familiar?
No, so I'm not related to Rachel Roberts. But if you know your Welsh rugby, my cousin Alex Mann plays for Wales in rugby. He's the number 6 international. They played today against Samoa, and they won. So Alex has got a few caps.
There you go. Vibes by Spencer is here with us. Good evening, gents.
Hi, Spencer.
And actually, I had to show this one first, which was from David. See you later. I have to go watch Love Island. He's been told.
Oh, man.
I'm not sure if he was told or if he's just choosing to go watch Love Island. And then Richard sympathies. So there you go.
Do you know what Love Island is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I do. Because we share legally, we share something like it's called Crave. We share it with my daughter, and she watches it. So it always comes up in things you previously watched, and it's like, no, I have not watched that, but she has. So yes, I do know what Love Island is.
It's awful.
It's awful. It is.
Yeah.
We have there's lots of awful crap out there and then there's such great stuff that gets canceled. Anyway, I think it's my turn because we put Curtis in there, and I think it's mine. Because Daryl, did you go? You went, right?
Yeah.
Daryl went. Perfect. See, I do kind of know what I'm talking about. Kind of. I won't go full blown know what I'm talking about.
What did he say earlier on? At least I keep track of mine.
Look, man, when I get out of order, you hold on a second here. Let me see. I got to do something here. There. Okay. Because I can do that. Okay. I did Manitoba, which again is geographically about center of Canada. Not about, it is. So next up, we're going to move over to my province, which is the province of Saskatchewan. Hard to spell, easy to draw. If you look it up on a map, it really is. And I'm going to go with a young man that maybe not that many people know of, and it's Colter Wall. The fellow Canadians, either in the comments or on the panel, maybe are familiar with. This guy sounds, and he's got a dart going right on the picture. This sounds like he smokes about 100 packs a day. He's got that traditional country, early Western, even sound to his music and his voice. It's unique, but it's very, very good. Back to the songwriting comments from earlier, some great, fantastic songwriting. He's got some friends too. You can see him hanging out with Steve Earle. I can't remember who else is all on here, but really good. And again, I say young man because he's in his mid-20s. He looks like he's 50 plus and sounds like he's 100 plus. But good stuff. He's had some health issues over the last little while, which is unfortunate. And I haven't had a chance to see him live yet, but looking forward to getting to at some point because it's interesting stuff. His father was the premier of our province for a little while. So there was a day where, because I recognized the premier, he and his son, Colter, were at a local not a local record shop, at a local instrument shop, and they were buying guitars. And I'd like to think that the guitar that Colter bought that day is the guitar he uses on this album. But good stuff. Check it out. Very traditional country and Western, and his voice is very unique, much like a lot of Canadian voices we talk about, Gord. We talk about Geddy Lee and unique voices in Canada. He definitely has that. I don't know, Brian, Curtis, Daryl, if you guys have listened to Colter at all, but it's good, but it's different. You have to be in the mood for it. You have to have it as a flavor in your flavor palette, I think. So, but good stuff.
I've never heard of him. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's acquired, I think, a little bit. Again, his voice is very, very unique, and it's very traditional country, but it's really good. And again, comes down to some fantastic songwriting as well. So, and plus, as a Saskatchewan kid, he's got some references to some places within the province, which is always kind of cool, right? It's like the lighthouse in Little Lorraine, right? Curtis is very familiar with that. Yeah, right there. There it is right there, actually, where he talks about he's got a song called Bald Butte, which is a Bald Butte here in Saskatchewan. So that adds a little flavor for a guy like me as well, but it's very good stuff. So I would give it a shot. So
cool.
there you go. Okay. Just more talk about Love Island. Let's see. One more. Who else is looking forward to Vinyl Dale's live stream tonight? Sure. I'm not familiar with Vinyl Dale, but there's a little plug for him. So if you're not watching it, there you go. Check out Vinyl Dale's live stream later on this evening. Chris, it is your turn, my friend. So have at her. What do you got for us?
Stan Rogers.
Good choice. Good choice. Yeah. Just had a conversation with a customer all about Stan yesterday. We talked for about a half an hour, actually. I'll let you go.
Stan Rogers died in a plane crash, I believe. Got burnt alive. Wasn't able to get out the aircraft on time. I think he was on the runway. Am I wrong or right on this one? They got trapped on the airplane on the runway and he kind of burnt alive or suffocated. Celtic, Canadian, you can tell there's a bit of Irish, Scottish, Celtic kind of theme going on here. But I really enjoy it. I remember when I bought this and I was playing in the back room in my record room and Liz came in, she went, "Are we going to start doing the river dance soon then?"
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's
Well,
that
so
one.
what you have to do is when you plan your Canadian trip, I think, as I said earlier, your first stop should be to see Curtis, because then on top of it, there is always the Stan Rogers Festival, right? Which, there you go. So I don't know when that is. Is that a always September thing or an always August thing? Or
no, it's usually July.
Okay.
So there's so I'm going again this year. There's kind of like the weekend festival, the camping, 3 days, music, a couple stages. It's done really well. It's a small festival, but it's done lovely. One of the highlights every year is all of the performers get together and they do a 1 hour set where they cover all Stan's music.
nice. Yeah.
It's really cool. But anyway, they've started adding on to the festival in the last number of years. So now it's a full week event where they do things in the local community leading up in the week leading up to the actual weekend festival. So yeah, it's a good time. I enjoy it. My kids love it. So they're always asking, "Are we going back to Stanfest this year?" So
awesome. Sorry, Chris. I just knew I wanted you to, I wanted to give you some more travel tips. So, but yeah, that's a great album, and he only has 3, I think.
I was about to ask Curtis then, how many albums has he got? I've only got this one, which I absolutely love. It's brilliant.
I'm not sure. I feel like I was going to say 4 plus Alive. Maybe it's 3 plus Alive. I'm not sure.
Can't remember.
Okay, cool.
But worth getting the other ones, right? I think he's one of those guys that if you like some, you like it all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Distinct voice. Speaking of Canadian voices, that baritone voice is very instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
Not what you were expecting me to show, guys.
No, but that's good though. That's awesome.
So there you go.
You hang around with us Canadians long enough, we'll get you a whole bin full of records.
I'm sure you will, Joe.
Yeah.
I want staff discount when I come to your shop because I know it's going to cost me an absolute fortune. Warp Dog is saying down east music can be very Celtic with its own twist. So I like that kind of music because it reminds, because I am a Celt because I'm Welsh.
Right.
So let's do a quick history check here. So you got the Welsh, you got the Scottish, you got Irish, we're Celts, and then you've got the English.
And then you've got the English, and we won't talk about them right now. Is that what?
No, because I got loads of English friends, but I'm just saying, it's the Celts were trying to keep the English out.
Yeah, that's right.
And now everybody speaks English.
Yeah. There's a lot of fiddle in Celtic East Coast Canadian music because a lot of the people that came from the Celts came to there first, right? Because that is the shortest distance to get to Canada. So it's a big influence.
I believe if you go through history, sorry to keep on about this, but if you go through history, it was probably the Vikings who actually originally brought the music down through Scotland and through the Celts. So
Yeah.
they used to make their own flutes out of wood and kind of that kind of thing. And so that I think that's where it originally comes from, which Morton will love. I've said that.
The Vikings used to make their flutes out of the bones of their
ancestors and people they've killed. Yes.
There you go. All right. So
You're particularly drawn to the Celtic vibes, Chris. Come in
Yes.
come in.
Let me play you a song I just killed your father with.
there you go. All right, Brian. Lighten the mood, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Try and lighten the mood a little at this point.
All right. Well, I've gone with a Canadian singer-songwriter who's kind of like a punk rock legend here by the name of Art Bergman, which you may be able to see there. He, I guess he's from the West Coast and originally was in a couple of seminal punk bands, one called the K-Tells, which became Young Canadians. Then he played with various bands in the 80s before he had a solo career. He's released, I think, a dozen albums. This is his last one from 2023. So one of those punk rock attitudes where he's a defender of social equality and, equal rights, that kind of thing. Was awarded the Order of Canada, which is Canada's highest civilian honor, a few years ago. I find him really interesting. He's got again, thinking about unusual voices, he has a very unusual voice. Once described as the Canadian Lou Reed or the punk rock Leonard Cohen, take your pick. Really intriguing, though. I've always found him quite nice. Now, this is a weird record because it's really a sad record. When I bought it, I knew this, but they had scribbled on here, of course, he's a Juno Award winner, which is equivalent to the Grammys. And this album is an ode to his wife, who had passed away unexpectedly. Well, I guess by the time she passed away, it wasn't unexpected, but yeah, it was kind of a sad illness. Here is you won't be able to read that, but that's the back of it. So I find him really interesting. His first debut was in 89 or something like that. His solo record, his first solo record. I find him really interesting. It has a bit of an unusual voice, kind of a gravelly, not gravelly, but sort of not like a polished voice. Really interesting, though. Found him really interesting. So yeah, just an interesting early Canadian punk rock artist who now is sort of mellowed a bit into the sort of like post-punk, if you can call it that, or whatever that is, like indie more or less, maybe singer-songwriter style.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's
interesting.
Fair. Good. Yeah. Good stuff. There is some good. I don't know if you necessarily associate Canadian music with any specific genre because it is so diverse as you move across. But there's lots of great punk bands, obviously the Celtic bands that we've talked about. There's AOR stuff, tons of AOR. So yeah, you can't just pigeonhole. Well, you can't pigeonhole any music anywhere, but there really is a wide variety to choose from here in Canada, which again wasn't that way in the 70s. Even there wasn't a whole lot of bands. There was the Guess Who, there was Anne Murray, there was Gordon Lightfoot. You got tired of some of them because again, you had to play it. If you had a radio station, you had to play Canadian music, and there were just only so many of them. And it was great for the bands. They got royalties up the yin yang from it because they just got played so much. At least they spread it out a little bit. They didn't just play Summer of '69.
Yeah.
AV Room Chris, nice to have you with us. Thank you.
Hey, Christopher, you all right, mate?
Yeah. Buying records off of Temu lately, I think he's been one.
Yes.
Buying records off, but one.
Can I just ask the Canadians a question here, being as you're part of the Commonwealth? So you're pretty much half British. So have you got castles in Canada at all?
There's one in Toronto.
There is.
Yeah, a little bit, but nothing. Oh, well, yeah, I guess there's a couple of official ones. There's a couple that try and make theirs into castles here in Regina as well, where they put a couple turrets on it and called it a castle. But
it was quite funny because I was watching BBC News this evening, BBC Welsh News, and they was talking about July the 4th is 250 years of American independence. And there was some old guy in his 80s or 90s being in the Second World War, whatever it was. And he turns around and he goes, 250 years, he said, we've had castles in Wales for over 1,000.
Yeah. Ryan, you were going to say?
I was going to say, the castle in Toronto isn't really a castle. It was built like one. But we have citadels. There's a Halifax Citadel, the Quebec City Citadel, which are fortified. Yeah.
We have a lot of forts too, like Fort
Yeah.
Erie, Fort
York, Fort Henry.
Yeah.
a lot of forts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, even Joanne and I are watching, again, we're watching House Hunters International, and they're somewhere else, and they, or they're in Canada, and they talk about the building being old and it's 100 years old. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever. Talk to me when you get into the quadruple digits, kids.
When you come to Wales, Joe, I'll take you to some of the castles, and you'll be like, "Good God, how is this still standing?"
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome, though. That's great. So
Yeah.
excellent. All right. Speaking of a king, I believe it's Daryl's turn. You are up, sir.
King.
Comparing me to the king, I
King
mean,
Darryl.
that's a
A good king.
I'm
though.
a not only am I a legend, I'm a king too.
Legend.
It's
I am
good to be the
honored.
king.
I am honored. Speaking of honored, I'm actually gonna do a double right now. So if you're not familiar with a double, it's Tim Hortons, which is our famous Canadian coffee shop that you can go to everywhere, which was basically what was it? It was started by a NHL hockey player known as Tim Horton at the time, and they're found everywhere around Canada. So a double, if you're not familiar with it, is just a coffee with 2 cream and 2 sugar, and it's shown on every like hockey game advertisement, all that kind of stuff. So how am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to focus on 2 female musicians because we haven't done any female Canadian musicians, and I'm going to show 2 albums by both of those. So there's my double.
Perfect.
And I think for me, these ones kind of defined my experiences of Canadian female musicians of the 90s, though there are definitely more. So if anybody here is going to show Shania or Celine Dion, you are more than free to do that because I don't have them. But my experiences of Canadian female musicians in the 90s is I got to go with Alanis Morissette.
Good call.
Jagged Little Pill is perhaps one of the most famous Canadian albums of the 90s, at least from a female musician. This is like poppy rock, but very like there's a few songs on here that are pretty aggressive. You Ought to Know to me is probably the most aggressive lyrically song. I mean, she's what is that? Is it about Dave Coulier? I think it is.
Supposed to be, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but no, I mean this had I think six singles for sure. All I Really Want, You Ought to Know, Hand in My Pocket, You Learn, Head Over Feet, Ironic. This was all over Canadian airwaves all the time. And then her follow-up album, which is a little lesser known, is Supposed Former Infatuation Junkie, which what's the main song that was on this one?
Thank you.
So Pure, I think is the one, or no, Unwell. But I mean, really, really good stuff. I mean, if you want more of an aggressive Canadian musician who started off as just Alanis, and the song Too Hot, which was more like pop music, she went from that to super aggressive. So there's my 2 for the first part of the double. And
Daryl,
then the other one, I mean, I talked to
Daryl.
Yeah.
Do you know why she went super aggressive? Do you know why she went super aggressive? Because John Mayer dumped her.
Oh, we're going with John Mayer. I thought it was about Dave Coulier. There's all kinds of different stories there.
Yeah.
We're going to go from an aggressive situation to I have talked about this on this stream before, plus the Wednesday one that I'm on. Might even refer to this one as the Canadian Sheryl Crow, so to speak. She's bluesy, pop, rock. We'll go with Amanda Marshall. This is the self-titled one. She did have a minor hit in the United States, which is on this one, which is Birmingham, which is a really good song. But this one features like Let It Rain, Dark Horse, Beautiful Goodbye. To me, this one here is pretty much a perfect album, in my opinion. I don't skip over any tracks on this. So if you're looking for that, and she just released a new one recently. And then there's the Tuesday's Child album, which is this one, which is still in the original wrapper. I really got to change it up. But this one has Believe in You, Love Lift Me, If I Didn't Have You, Ride. So this one here is a double, but yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something that's kind of like Sheryl Crow, a little bit bluesy, a little bit country, a little bit pop, a little bit rock, it's all here. And then she goes a little bit R&B with her more recent albums. So yeah, Alanis Morissette, Amanda Marshall. I don't know if any of you guys are going to show Sheryl Crow or Celine Dion, but those are the other two. Growing up as a teenager in the 90s, those were all over the airwaves from female musicians. So
I will
give
say,
them their due.
Daryl, I will say the Amanda Marshall one, I have streamed it quite a few times. I've been trying to keep my eye out for it because I do really like it. And you are right, Sheryl Crow, very much so. But I'm going to make a statement now that it's not like me.
Okay, go.
I prefer Amanda Marshall to Sheryl Crow when it comes to lyrics and music.
That's
I just
fair.
think she's slightly a bit better. My favorite Sheryl Crow album is Wildflowers, which is not available on vinyl. It's available on CD. And the only reason I say that is because on my first contract working on cruise ships, one of the South African girls, that's all she used to play in the spa, was that fucking Wildflowers album. And at the time, I hated it because it was on rotation every third hour. So remember the disc changes, guys, used to get. Well, in the crew and in the cruise ship in the spa, because I was doing barbering. They used to have 4 discs. One of them was like Enya, obviously. The other one was Sheryl Crow. There was another one, and the other one actually was Bryan Adams, Born in the USA.
Good. It's good.
So,
wow.
And we know how that's gone for me.
Yeah. No. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Alana's still touring. I have not seen her. I'd like to go see her. Amanda's touring as well in the last little while, as you mentioned.
She's in Cardiff Castle this summer, I think.
Yeah, good. There's been some good Canadian acts over there near you. Dead South, right? That's another one, which I'm not going to bring up because I talk about them a fair bit, but good stuff. So, all right, let's roll through a couple quick comments. Love me some Tim Hortons. There you go. Richard is an honorary Canadian. He's that's not that far away. That's not that far south, and he spent some time up here in Canada. So, we'll give him that. Coincidentally, I live near the overpass that Tim Horton crashed into and got turned into Timbit. There you go. So, I don't know that we needed that warp, but thanks though. I think the original's in Hamilton, is it not? The original Tim's is Hamilton. Yeah. Miss Tim Hortons.
He was from Cochrane, Ontario, which is where I get on the train.
Is it? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Chris misses Tim Hortons, had him in Michigan, not in Texas, never did make it down that far. Weren't Alanis, M, and Ryan Reynolds an item at some point? Yes, I think so. But then Taylor and Kelsey came around, and that was the end of it. That's not true. I just had to get a reference in there because if you don't mention that wedding this weekend, then really, are you worthy of anything?
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I don't begrudge them. Have at it. You know what? They're awesome people. They've given away a ton of money to a lot of good places. So have at her. What the hell? If I could rent out Madison Square Garden, although I'd probably do. I don't know if I would do. I don't know. Never mind. Never heard of many of these artists. That's what we're here for, Chris. So lots of good Canadian stuff for you to choose from. And one more from Richard. I streamed the earlier Amanda Marshall, the White Album, not the White Album, but the one that is a white cover, really good. Yes, it very much is so. And I'll scroll down because Warp Dog has a fun fact. Alanis was on a good kid show called You Can't Do That on Television. I remember that show, starring radio legend Les Lai in the male adult roles. The clips are on YouTube. One more. No, Chris, he doesn't agree with you on the Sheryl Crow. So, and there is also one more comment about Enya. But I think more than one mention of Enya in any given show is
enough.
So we're just going to move on because
she actually lives in a castle in Ireland.
Yeah, and now I've got Orinoco flow in my head, but that's all right. It'll get out. I hope. All right, okay. We got lots of time still. Well, not lots, but we've got some time still to go around at least once more. Curtis, for your second choice, where are we going for you, or your third choice? I can't remember. Anyway, you're up, Curtis. Go.
All right. Well, I got a quick question for Chris first. You guys might have talked about this in the introduction before I came on, but in Canada Day, we got an announcement that Canada is joining the Eurovision contest next year.
Yeah, that's right. I saw that. Yeah.
And so, educate us naive Canadians here. What are we getting into? What do we have to look forward to?
Garbage pop.
So don't get too excited then, you're telling me.
It's it's not for me. It's a lot of presenters getting really drunk and trying to slur over their words and introduce people from different countries they've never heard of, and kind of, I always like the Swedish or the Norwegians or those kind of people that go over the top when dressing up and kind of singing in different languages. They could be singing songs like "I Hate Your Guts," but it sounds so good with the melodies.
Would an Andrine de Fortin, would they fit into that mold?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, because you've no idea what they're playing. But yes, I would say okay, go on YouTube and watch it. Watch the clips, right? And you'll go, "What the hell have we let ourselves in for you?" Because
because of Brexit, the UK always does piss poor every year at it, from my understanding.
Yes. I think we've won it once in the last 25 years, and it was actually an Irish singer that should have been singing for Ireland, and she ended up singing for Britain. And it's just Liz loves it, but I'm going in the back room and I'm gonna put on some Rammstein.
But if it wasn't for Eurovision, we wouldn't have discovered ABBA back in the day, right?
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, and I think Daryl would agree with you. I like ABBA.
Go.
I don't have a problem, but yeah. And then here's a comment from Dale's Music Store, Bloody Enya. So.
That's Liz.
I know.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Yeah, that's what I thought. So
yeah.
All right. Okay. So we've slagged Enya, we've slagged Eurovision, and we've slagged ABBA, I guess, a little bit. So Curtis, get us out of the negative. Tell us something.
All right. Well, I'll get you back to some quintessential East Coast rock.
Okay.
It goes from sort of melodic rock to jangly pop to just, again, with that excellent songwriter. I think last time I joined you lads for a stream, I think I might have showed this artist. And Chris, I think you've been checking it out a bit. I think you've had a chance to check out this album here.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Next week, I'm going to go see Joel Plaskett here in Sydney in an outdoor free concert, actually. So it can't get better than free. This is one of his better albums. All his albums are good, actually. He's got great songwriting across all his albums. But this is a standout in his catalog. How can I explain it? So he's got, like I say, kind of like some of the songs have that kind of garage rock kind of energy. I would say others are more folky. Good melodies, if you like a Tom Petty, like it's that kind of feel, storytelling, everyday life, finding the kind of the fun in everyday life. This is his other big album, Trey Rock. Here, I think just he crosses over. Sometimes he does solo stuff, and sometimes he does the stuff with the Emergency, his band. Just well respected. Probably got, I don't know, a dozen albums out at this stage in his career. This is him with the Emergency. Great stuff. Check out Joel Plaskett and the Joel Plaskett Emergency.
I did, and I'll tell you for a fact that I was actually playing it today, and one of my favorite songs off that 3 to 1 album is Through and Through and Through.
Yeah, it's a great track.
Yeah.
Great track.
Yes, I was listening to the car, and you can only get the albums now, well, that I can get through his website. I think one of them's on like a half yellow, half black kind of vinyl kind of variant. But the shipping,
Yeah.
fuck.
That's
hell.
the worst.
I would like to point out that I know of 2 people now, and I'm sure there's more than 2, where if you can't actually peel the hype sticker off, you just cut it out in the plastic and then you stick it in the album. Because I think that's what fell out, right? Was the hype sticker?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do too. If I
I
can't
don't even
get it off,
bother trying to peel it off. I don't even know why I save it. Really, it's just I don't know.
yeah, we all do.
I
I think we all do. So I know I do for sure. So that's awesome.
This is the Taz record exclusive. This is a record store in Halifax. Oh, sorry, there we go.
Nice. So when it is just labeled him, because I know of, and I should start to listen to, and I will, if it's just labeled him, is that more acoustic and just him, like the CD that you showed, versus The Emergency is always the band? Or
The Emergency is always with the band. Even the stuff that's labeled just him, it's not just acoustic though.
Okay.
There's still some like rock and fully plugged in kind of stuff on there.
awesome.
I guess short answer is I don't really know, Joe.
All right, fair. Yeah, that's good. That's why I asked the questions, and now we have something to go and look at. So that's awesome. All right.
My favorite tunes, through one, Nowhere With You, great tune. Love This Town. Off this one, I really love Harbor Boys. Was it this one? No, this one, Harbor Boys. It's got a real East Coast feel to it. Yeah.
Perfect. That's awesome. Good stuff. All right. Let's see. Yeah, we've got, so I'll go one more time. Then I think we'll go around again. That should get us up to the top of the hour, right? Plus, that way I can get all 4 of the provinces that I want to talk about in. If we all go, because I've got one more to go. But anyway, because I pulled out, I don't know why. I always pull out way more than I'm ever going to need, because we all just go on. But that's good. That's exactly what we want. It's never been a case of, oh, I've run out of shit to show. So that's never been the case. Anyway, let's move on to Alberta. So we started Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta. And if Canada had a Texas, and this is I not to reference a state, but if Canada had a Texas, Alberta is our Texas. They want to subside from Canada. That's where all the cowboys are. There's a lot of ranchers. It like I said, it's not a great way to describe it. It also is the start of the Rocky Mountains, and it's a beautiful province, and I'm going to tour it in about 3 weeks, part of it anyway, along with British Columbia. But as a point of reference, kind of Canada's Texas. With that said, the Stampeders are up next for me. Classic Canadian band, but a classic Canadian band that is still playing into their 80s. There are 2 of the guys. I think it's this guy and this guy that were left out of the 3. There was times where there was a few others in the band, but they were a little ZZ Top like, where there was only 3 guys and they made a lot of music. You can see they're actually Angine Dupoitrine. There it is. That's who it is. The Stampeders have turned into Angine Dupoitrine, not necessarily. Very good classic Canadian kind of rock, but mostly country rock or whatever. Hit the Road Jack, maybe a song that others internationally may have heard with Wolfman Jack, where they make a phone call to him and he's kind of in the background, things like that. But Carry Me, again, really good stuff. Minstrel Gypsy on here for those in the know. Thunderclaps and Lightning is also a very good song. Rich Dodson, Ronnie King, and the other gentleman, Kim Burley. Good stuff. Again, you might need to get your cowboy hat on, much like the one gentleman already does, and give it a spin. But they border that country rock, but not Eagles country rock, Canadian country rock, if that makes sense. But good stuff. I like them a lot. And again, still out there getting it done. The only difference these days is they fully admit at some point the drummer goes, okay, we're going to do a guitar solo because I have to take a break for a little while. So on the drum, so we're going to have a little bit of a guitar solo here for the next bit, and I'm going to take a break. So good stuff. Check them out if you get a chance. the big song probably Hit the Road Jack, but there's a lot of other great stuff. Carry Me as well. So there you go, Stampeders. Good stuff.
So
Good.
Warp Dog agrees with you. Great band.
Yeah, they are. Not massive, not huge, but have just put together a fairly lengthy 70s till now career. No new music, but still lots of people go and see them. And very, very classic, very nostalgic, good stuff. And the guy still sounds great singing as well. Sometimes, you start to get up into your 70s and your 80s, and just because it happened, you start to lose your singing capabilities. But that was not the case the last time I saw him, which was a couple years ago. So good stuff.
Cool.
All right. So that is everybody through one more time. So we'll go back up to the top. We'll start with the Welshman. You can show as much or as little as you like. You can do one, you can do them all, but because I think by the time you get through the five of us, we'll probably be back to the top of the hour, and we like to keep our comedy on time here. So
Okay. The Damn Truth.
I like them.
Curtis, I think you'd dig these if you haven't heard of them before. Really, really good. There's that one. Sorry, that came on a check out that for a splattered vinyl.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Had to mention these. Sum 41. Daryl loves. Let me move him down a bit. Why is his face covering?
Well, because it's up. It's
Hang
got
on.
the
Right.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, put
So
me up. There. That's nice.
Daryl's favorite kind of entrance to this is all the good shit, but it's covered over with a sticker.
Yeah.
So there's that one.
I like Sum 41. I've never been to a concert of theirs, but my wife went one time.
Well, yes, yes, yeah, I remember the story. Well, they retired now, so they say, but they'll probably do a kiss and come back. How about Joe mentioned these earlier on. You've got the Glorious Sons, brilliant album. This one is. Joe put me onto this one. It's on like a cream vinyl. Double, is it double LP or is it a single LP?
That is
Single
the color of the inside of a cream donut from Tim Hortons. It's that color.
Okay. How about one of the biggest artists on the planet at the moment? This is The Weeknd's new album. I love these. Love a bit of The Weeknd. Really, really cool. This came on black vinyl. This is the most recent release. Don't ask me to ask the album because it doesn't say on you.
Yeah.
So there's that. Had to mention this band. It is the band. It is Northern Lights, Southern Cross. What an album! Love this.
Yeah.
Picked this up online for £11 from Canada with free shipping on eBay.
Wow.
Work that one out.
They near made my Mount Rushmore.
I was gonna say they could be on a Canadian Mount Rushmore, yeah. Or
Yeah.
Mount. We gotta come up with what's a Canadian mountain? Mount McKinley? Is that
Logan?
Logan? Yeah, there you go.
Daryl's gonna love this one, even though he's not wearing the t-shirt this evening. One of the biggest rock bands to conquer the world. Probably sold more records than any other Canadian artist band ever. It's Nickelback. This is Silver Side Up.
I wouldn't care if I didn't.
There you go. Bit of Nickelback. I kind of picked this and then got it wrong because I had to go on Wikipedia. I thought this artist was Canadian, but he was actually born in London. His dad is Canadian. His mother's Canadian. He lives in Canada. So I did fuck up on this one. It's Keith Sutherland. He was born in London. And I've seen him I've seen him live. He's pretty good. Country pop music. And to finish things off, sorry, Curtis, it's my favorite album. Pretty much, it's my favorite album ever. I can't stop listening to this album. It's Mr. Adam Baldwin. I love it. Just every day I've got to put it on. Just got to put it on. House in Little Lorraine.
You have my full support.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got to ask the question. you've seen the film. Okay, you went to the Q&A with Adam and the rest of them. Just entertain me for like 2 minutes, mate. What was that like? What's the film like? Because I've seen it. What I'm waiting. What is it like?
Film was great. It's got a big heart. It's an indie film. But no, it's just a good story. It's a lot kind of more serious than I was expecting. I was almost expecting to have almost a much more of a comedic undertone or something, but it didn't. It was much more raw than I was expecting. Q&A was great. They had a crab boil outside the theater.
Love it.
Like no joke. It was great. Yeah, because I went like opening night or the day after, the second night. Yeah, they were all there in their limos, and it was it had definitely a party vibe to it in the theater that night. So yeah, it's pretty true to the song, the movie. It's based on the song, of course. Yeah, great performances, good storytelling, great cinematography too. Like some of the shots are really, really, really beautiful. I'm not a film expert, but the lighting and things at times looked really cool. So yeah, no, definitely. And lots of places I'm familiar with. It was all shot here at Benton Island. So that was kind of cool. And a few of the characters I recognized from the local theater scene and things like that. So yeah, it was well worth a watch when you get whenever it comes to streaming. Definitely check it out.
Well, I know you can rent it on YouTube and Apple, but you can't. But you can't in the UK.
Get yourself a VPN.
Actually,
I love the fact that Chris went sorry before he said, "You see, you already are a Canadian because you're saying sorry."
yeah, but it's quite difficult because the British government are trying to ban VPNs. So it's kind of
good luck.
Yeah.
I'll find a way, and we'll move on to the next one.
I've been trying to keep an eye out for the DVD release. In fact, we got to ask questions in the theater.
Okay,
that was my question. When can I get myself a DVD copy?
Yeah.
And he's like, check it. Send an email to this address, and I did, but they just replied.
Okay, so the best VCLT you could ever send me, right, is the DVD. All right.
I'm working on it. on it.
I'm just saying in it, save your money, just send me that freaking DVD so I can watch it. That's all I'm asking. Right? I'll even pay for postage. Tell me your PayPal and I'll fucking send it to you, mate.
There was a great they recorded when he was opening up for Blue Rodeo at Massey Hall, and he tells the story a little bit about, and it's a very good story. And then he goes, and now I'm going to wreck the end of the movie for you. And then he plays the song. So because it's he said that they keep it fairly true to the song, kind of like the video that they did for it as well is very true to the song. So
I'll tell you something I learned really, really quickly that I didn't know before the Q&A. Adam's father was an RCMP officer.
Yeah.
And apparently where he got his information about this whole thing was his father, basically.
That's from Pops, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
I think he's in the studio making a new album, or just finished a new album.
I think it's done.
Wow. Okay. Right.
It's done, so
yeah. This is Joe moving us on now. Okay, Brian, you're next.
No, it's not. So no, I just wanted to see Brian. Because hey. you know I love that album as much as everybody else. So yeah.
All right. So this one I went with Pitchfork actually called this band among the most important musical artists of the past 25 years, or the past 25 years. They said that in 2021, and that is Broken Social Scene. I don't know if anybody knows this band. This is the best way to describe it is kind of like an indie rock collective. There's a core membership of like 6 people, but it balloons to sometimes 19 people featuring Andrew Whiteman, Kevin Drew, but also people like Leslie Feist and Emily Haynes and Amy Milan. Really interesting. This is their first record, which is weirdly kind of ambient with a few lyrics and very mostly instrumental. But their later records kind of changed track and moving into sort of like Baroque pop or kind of like indie rock. Really fascinating. There's a huge number of bands that are kind of like offshoots of that band, including like Metric and whatnot. I'll just mention one other one because I know we're getting low on time.
Do what you want to do, man. That's
all right. Well, I thought I'd mention the New Pornographers from, I guess they're from Vancouver. So this is one of those weird bands where it's like a Canadian-American hybrid because it's Canadian except for Nico Case, who does vocals. She doesn't tour with them anymore. I think they hired another musician to do her singing parts, but in the studio, she's still there. I think they've been really interesting. They have 10 records, I think, in the sort of, I don't know, genres are so confusing to me, but sort of power popish in a way, but maybe a little bit more sophisticated. I think they're really interesting. That's always great. I'll mention one more. Oh, by the way, I thought Joe, you'd mentioned the Northern Pikes in your West Coast tour, but yeah. How about Eric's Trip, another band from the East Coast, from Halifax? I find them really interesting. They're kind of like a lo-fi garage band. In fact, the early stuff was recorded in a basement on a 4-track, and then they put out, I think, 3 full-length albums and a bunch of EPs. Really great, sort of grungy. They were first Canadian band signed to Sub Pop, which is kind of cool. I think they're really fantastic, really interesting sound. This happens to be, what's this? I always forget the name of this one. Purple Blue, which is great. I just think they're really cool. And maybe not that well known outside of Canada, I guess, but I think they're really interesting.
Awesome. Right. I had I didn't pull the Pikes because I talk about them quite a bit. So yeah, but yeah, good stuff, really good stuff. And Semco and his current friend, I believe, doing a lot of touring throughout Canada, and actually the Pikes are as well. So if you get a chance, get out there and see them. But fantastic. I had done a Canadian video a long time ago, and I actually had the New Pornographers pulled out, or I had Nico Case, and then I went, oh yeah, right, because I forget that she is not. We'll give her honorary Canadian citizenship, yes. I think at this point, right? So yeah. Okay, let's do a couple quick ones before we get to the king here. I like 141. Good band, and you're right, Chris. They have called it quits, and probably will. We'll see. Good last album, though, and good last tour. I saw them open for Offspring. They were fantastic. The Weekend album, obviously, we're all older gentlemen here. We're talking about some classic and some new stuff, but The Weekend, very, very new and current, because we do have some of that in Canada as well. Put that Nickelback. You are the guy who bought Kiefer's album. So there you go. Kiefer, real quick story. He was on Letterman once, and he told a story about the fact that he's walking down the street and he runs into what he thought was a guy, and he goes, oh, sorry about that, and it was a parking meter. So very Canadian story. He apologized. He said sorry to the parking meter because he ran into it. Warp will not comment on our friend from Hannah, Alberta. And look who showed up late to the party as always, but we're glad to have him at the party. Mark Morris. I can't find the YouTube setting that translates from Canadian to English. Take off.
Or from Canadian to Welsh.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, a couple more, and then we'll get to Daryl. Mark, Brian, always bringing porn into the mix.
Do my best.
So I chose to do one more, but
there's a funny story, but not funny. There's a horrible story about the drummer from that band who was arrested a while back because of. Well, you can look it up. You can look it up. There
you go. Yeah, exactly. Eric's Trip and Northern Pikes, tasty bands. Yes, very good. Eric's Trip came to the UK in 93 supporting Red Cross, great band. Star Power 4838. Thank you for being here. If you have commented earlier and I have not noticed, I apologize. All right. It is, although we are not truly monarch country, but we're kind of close. Anyway, it's just my way of calling Daryl a king again. You're up, buddy.
The king of threads.
All right, I've got like 4 or 5 here to go. Focusing on 80s and 90s for this last set here. I'm going to do a couple out of the province of Quebec, or La Belle Province, if you want to call it that. I've shown this guy before. One of the very few I have on, pretty much a completionist of all his records. We got Gino Vanelli. This is the Big Dreamers Never Sleep album, which has my favorite Gino song on it, which is Wild Horses. If I'm going to describe them, like soft pop, soft jazz, electronic jazz, a little bit of rock. But he doesn't really do too many albums in French. Most of his music is in Anglais. But yeah, if you're into that kind of music, might even call it a little bit of elevator music. You might hear it at the mall or something like that, but we'll go with that. Next one, this is the greatest hits band, The Box, out of Montreal. Kind of that 80s feel. Like I talked about Glass Tiger earlier in the show. Those of you that were late to the party, surprise, I showed Glass Tiger. But this is a double set greatest hits. But they had like they're almost comparable to like Glass Tiger, Haywire, some bands like that. But they did like Closer Together was a big radio played song. Ordinary People. They were all about, like, a lot of their songs are about not political views, but like one of the songs has to do with censorship of music and stuff, and this idea that they were really anti the whole censorship thing that they were trying to do in the United States, especially with like Twisted Sister and all that. That's around the time that they kind of put up a protest to that. But my favorite song by them is actually there's an English version and there's a French version, and it's called L'Affaire du Mentier. Yeah. Say to Me, which was got some radio play in Canada. So there we go. That's got a clear vinyl and rosé. Chris, man, this is going to be for you. Not this album, but I do have a duplicate of, I believe it's their self-titled album. But this is I did manage to get a copy of this through VCLT, but this is the Record Store Day Honeymoon Suite, the singles album. Straight up 80s Canadian rock music. That's how we're gonna describe it. New Girl Now, Burning in Love, Stay in the Light, Wave Babies, Feel It Again, What Does It Take, Bad Attitude, Lethal Weapon, Love Changes Everything, Looking Up for Number One, which is not the same as the Burton Cummings one. I believe that was Burton Cummings. Yeah. Come Undone. Still Loving You and Long Way, but Chris, you might be getting some VCLT. I just got to double check and make sure that I still have a duplicate copy of it. Okay. And then we're going to go into the 90s with a couple of rock / I would even argue maybe like rock ballad type stuff. Shown this one before. This was a Record Store Day purchase from last year. Harem Scarum Anthology. Probably my most played record of 2025. Love these guys. I don't want to call them hair metal or anything like that, but they had a song called No Justice, which went radio, but then slowly slipping away, honestly, if there was a time. Really good stuff. Anthology Volume 1, although I just can't see these guys having enough hits to justify a Volume 2, but you never know. And then I'm going to finish it off with probably my most recent online purchase, Svengali, which was a Canadian rock band out of somewhere in Southern Ontario, I believe. But they did a song, they had a hit song, Under the Influence, early 90s, Tie-Dyed Skies. Love Don't Live Here was their power ballad song, or not even a power ballad, I would call it a ballad makeout song on the dance floor. Quick story before I go on this one. When I was in grade 11 media arts class in high school, I was working together with my group members, and a couple of them went out and they took some video shots on the lake of all the skidoos doing like jumps and tricks, and they were just racing around the lake and all this kind of stuff. And we actually used Under the Influence. The assignment was to create a 30-second commercial for a product. So we did a Bombardier skidoo, and we used Under the Influence as our 30-second track, and it's just rocking guitar right off the bat. So there we go. That's my lesser known bands, maybe, because I don't think too many people know Harem Scarum or Svengali for sure. They're Canadian rock as you're gonna get.
I know you mentioned that a lot, the Harem Scarum one. What kind of music are we looking at there, Daryl? Like genre?
Straight up, I would call it just 90s rock,
Okay.
probably not metal, but 90s rock.
Okay.
I think towards like they did some of that lovey-dovey ballad stuff too, right? Like they kind of came out around the same time as a lot of those other bands like Firehouse and not Motley Crue, but some of those bands of the late 80s, early 90s rock, that kind of how I'd be describing it. Whereas Svengali is more on the heavy side of things.
Okay.
Like not death metal or metal, but it's more on the heavy side of rock.
I was waiting for Daryl to show some Canadian Icelandic album then. I was thinking, he's going to pull it. He's going to pull it.
Where is it? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Let me know if you have any duplicates of Nanook, Daryl. I do not, Mark. I think that comment earlier of Canadian to English, skidoo might be one of those, although that is not necessarily. Two other quick comments. That box album, the packaging is just phenomenal on that. The cover, the whole 9 yards. It's a really, really good. I've got that too, and it's fantastic. And then
I actually got it as VLC. It's a gatefold. The inner cover is actually autographed. Nice. It's one of the few autographed records I have.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's great. It's a good album, and it's a wonderful package. Things you can say that sound dirty but aren't. There you go. And the last thing, is I think I saw something today that the gentleman from Harem Scarum's got cancer. The lead singer, I think his daughter posted that. To keep the upbeat flow going. Debbie Downer here. Okay, Curtis, bring us back again. What do you got, my friend?
Well, okay, I'm going to show just one artist, and I'm going to keep us on a downer for a second because you mentioned it. So I'm going to show this artist. I've seen Jamila at Stanfest last year for the first time. I'm going to see her in 2 weeks. This album didn't get very much promotion because she was battling cancer. So she just won a battle with cancer. So I guess it is an uplifting story. She's completely cancer free, as I understand from following her a little bit on social media. Jamila, Canadian is a bit of a stretch here. She's Jamaican, but she's currently living in Canada, right? She's migrated to Canada. She's an immigrant, right? So I mean, I'm counting it. I'm going to count it. So
that counts.
Roots reggae. I don't know if we have any Roots reggae fans in our audience today, but this is some fantastic Roots reggae. Daughter of Earl Chena Smith, famous reggae guitarist. This is her second album. Like I said, it didn't get any promotion. It's got some real standout tracks like Walk Alone, Never Fail, Reggae Not Dead. Excellent. And it's got a song like East Coast Family, where she's kind of merging with local Nova Scotia artists. There's some fiddle in here. So, I'm down for that. There's some rapping in there. So really cool. I'll just quickly show her first album, Roots Girl. This is probably even more to my liking. There's a lot of like soulful tracks on this one as well. Just go back here, Bad Habits, Deja Vu. These are kind of like really, really soulful. So she leans more into the kind of soul feel. This is a little bit more straight up roots reggae. Produced with the help of Michael Rose, who was give me a second here, the Abyssinians, I think. No, not the Abyssinians. I'm sorry. Anyway, Michael Rose. And here, this is produced by Sly Dunbar. Some of it recorded in Tough Gong Studio in Jamaica, and some of it recorded here in Nova Scotia and Halifax. I think someone was mentioned Factor earlier, weren't they? Factor, so this is get some Canadian music funding. So yeah, if you're looking for some sort of roots reggae with a Canadian feel, check out Jamila.
Very nice. That's awesome. And that one was autographed too, right?
Yes, she signed that one for me. So
yeah, I did notice to Curtis, my darling partner.
you go. That's all right. You mentioned fiddle. One of the greatest East Coast Canadian fiddlers comes from from Alberta, Kendall Carson, which we've talked about lots. So anyway, good stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, exactly. Back to that. Yeah, for sure. So there she is. There. Yeah. I think if you have an Alan Doyle without Great Big C, because I don't think she was ever part of that, you have Kendall Carson on it. Or if you have an Adam Baldwin, you have Kendall Carson on it as well. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, a couple quick comments, and then I will take us out of here. Let's see. Daryl must talk about Glass Tiger in Canadian law. That's true. If not, he has to give up his donuts and his double-double. Let's see. What else have we got? Daryl would be impressed to see I have an OG of that Honeymoon Suite LP bought in a clearance bin around 93 for $3.99.
Wow.
We got Prince 12-inch 45 of Let's Go Crazy at the same sale. And if you're going to play in Canada, you got to have a fiddle in the band. That's right. Yes, kind of. You do. Exactly. It doesn't hurt. That's for sure. Yeah, especially if you get anywhere east of Quebec, I suppose. But there you go. All right, one more. Me, I guess. So let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, to finish off, I'm going to go to the West Coast, and there's lots of bands from Manitoba. There's lots of bands from Saskatchewan. There's lots of bands from Alberta, but a lot of those people from those provinces move to BC and become BC artists. So it depends what you want to call it or not. But that's where the biggest West Coast music scene is in Vancouver and the province of British Columbia, but mostly Vancouver. Anyway, I'm going to go back to a classic because this band was just here on Canada Day playing in the park. I didn't get a chance to go see them, and it is Doug and the Slugs. Doug Bennett, lead singer. Unfortunately, like other Canadian bands, lead singers passed away a while ago. I'm not sure what it was that was the demise of Doug, but fantastic, good pub bar rock and roll, great Canadian West Coast. You know, they've almost got that little bit of rockabilly flavor, a little bit, not quite to the extent of say the Stray Cats and things like that, and a little bit of blues for sure. You could say that. And they're one of those bands that made you go and buy a whole bunch of different albums just if you wanted to be a completist and have different colors. I don't know if there's any other ones or not, but there are the 3 different colors. It's the same album. Everything else is exactly the same except for the color. But Must Be Love on here. What else? There's lots of great stuff. Day by Day, fantastic. Dancing on the Power Lines, Love Shines. Probably their biggest album. Another one of my favorites has got to be Monday by them. But again, unfortunately, Doug Bennett, lead singer at this time on the albums, has passed. But the band's still out there doing wonderful music. Again, didn't get a chance to see them on Canada Day, but they are one of those bands that still get out there and tour, despite the fact that they are not the originals anymore. And there's lots of bands that are doing it, from the biggest bands to the smallest bands, because you just want to keep playing the music that you love. And good to see at least a form of Doug and the Slugs out there still getting her done, eh? So there you go. That takes you through the 4 Western provinces. I got a whole bunch of other ones, but we don't need to do that. We'll do it again we'll make this a specific show every Canada Day for the next 20 years. We'll all come back and we'll all be here the weekend after Canada Day, and we'll talk about Canadian music.
By the way, it was cirrhosis of the liver from heavy drinking. Doug
was
Bennett.
it? Yeah, that makes sense because Doug, they were a party band for sure, and always put on a fantastic show. I did get a chance to see them with Doug, and then I've seen them without Doug as well. And again, still fantastic music. But he was just that kind of a front man that certainly added to it as well. So, sorry, Chris, you were going to say, I think, were you not?
This comment for you, Joe. Off Warpig. Doug and the Slugs, greatest hits were Making It Work. My favorite, Tomcat Prowl, Day by Day.
Yeah, it's just good. It's
Tomcat Prowl is an amazing song. It's a really good one.
Uplifting, kind of, right? Happy party music. You could certainly have a beer and listen to Doug and the Slugs. It would not be out of place when you did that, I think. So,
if anybody doesn't follow the violent community, that could sound like a porn film. Right, what we usually do is go around the panel, kind of describing what's going on, you know, what videos got coming up. Brian, we'll go to you first. you're doing the Canadian thing at the moment. You've done the 80s thread, I noticed this week.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, and I'm going to finish out the random records that people chose from my collection. So I've got 2 of those left, and the countdown's going on. So that's it.
Cool,
Yeah.
mate. I am enjoying it. I just, like I said, I've been listening to it in the car, so I need to go back and watch it like physically to see what you're showing.
Right.
But I am enjoying it. It's really good, mate.
Very
Honestly,
cool.
you know. Joe, shop kind of stuff. You put a video out this week for the shop. You're doing Joe Pretty. We haven't promoted it this week. Do you
No.
wanna?
Yeah, I had the promo, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it later. But yeah, I filmed just this afternoon or this morning at my time, the third semifinal. So we've got the 3 champions. I'm not going to say who they are that are going to play in the final. Well, I can tell you 2 of them, and one of them is sitting right beside me virtually. Brian is going to be in the final.
I was going to say it's not me.
No, it's not. No, it wasn't you did well. Actually, the episode you did the worst was the all UK one, but that's okay.
Look what I was up against.
And then Shane, my buddy from from right here in Saskatchewan. I think I called him Shane from Saskatoon a couple of times, and now that I think of it. But anyway, he'll be pissed at me, but that's okay. And then the winner of the one that I recorded today, which will show tomorrow night at 7:00, we'll have the finals as soon as I can find a time to get 4 adult human beings together and record something. So looking forward to it. It's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of all my best friends from here on, which is the important part. It's been fantastic. And we have a little fun. We play a little trivia and away we go. So look for that on my channel, and the final in the next bit. But the last semifinal is tomorrow night. If you're watching this live, July the 6th, 7 p.m. Regina time.
Cool.
Right.
Curtis, you're on mute, but there you go. I know you're busy with the fishing, mate. But anything coming up on your channel at the moment, or
Nothing for the next week or 2, I'd say.
Okay.
But after that, you'll see some thread entry to do, and probably do a recent finds kind of video as well. I just got a delivery of a gift I bought for Father's Day. I got a gift certificate, so
nice.
Show that off and things like that. So yeah, that's maybe some updates on some concerts I'll be going to and things like that. So
Question for you: do you listen to Adam Baldwin while you're fishing?
I don't have a radio on the boat this year.
Oh, okay.
The radio's broke, so
Okay. I need to get you like a Sony Walkman then, don't I?
yeah, I've been looking at a DeWalt worksite one. You know what I mean? But,
That kind of sounds like an Adam Baldwin song. The radio on the boat is broke. That's the next album. Adam, if you're watching, there you go. You got the title. I'll give you the title. You work out the lyrics.
So Daryl rushed from a train this evening to be with us, so I do appreciate Daryl. Absolute legend.
You still made it on time, unlike some others.
Great, yeah.
He traveled 8 hours just to get on the live stream, so that's commitment for you. Daryl, talk to me, mate. Anything coming up on your channel?
So I'm actually going on summer vacation next Monday. So I'll be on the train, and I won't be back for 3 weeks doing our camping and all that kind of stuff. So this week, my goal is to do a little bit of cleaning of the house each day. I'm going to pick a room or whatever it is, and then I'm going to make some videos so that I can kind of have it on a timed thing. Because I've got, so on this trip that I just made, I had to bring my son down to get his hand checked, x-rayed and all that. Turns out he's fine. They took his cast off. He's all good. But I did hit up a couple of record shops and thrift stores and stuff. So I'm going to probably do an update as to some recent purchases and all that kind of stuff. And then I want to do some videos of my vinyl styles video, which in the comment sections of the videos that I've been recording, VC members seem to be kind of intrigued based on some of these subgenres or styles that I've been showing that they've never heard. And so I want to try to get a few more of those out and have it on won't obviously be me doing it live, but that's the goal, because I'm going to be gone for a few weeks.
Cool.
You?
Me.
Oh, and there's a I don't know if Brian did it, because I haven't gone into the videos, but there's a 1980s thread that's going around that I definitely want to do that one because it's my favorite decade.
I did it.
So.
I did it.
Yeah, he did.
Without any glass tiger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daryl's like, I'm going to skip over that one.
Yes,
then.
I can do it. I can do it. There will be no repeats.
For myself, I bought a shitload of albums the last month, so I can probably do the June pickups for me. Still waiting on pre-orders that I ordered months ago that's supposed to come in for June. I'm still waiting for the Pretty Reckless new album, Dear God, which I've streamed a few times, which is brilliant. It's probably going to be my rock album of the year so far, if I'm being honest. It's brilliant. I'm finishing work Friday, traveling back to Tembe, and then me and my mate John are going to hit the record shop. So there may be a video come in with that one as well. We did one in Carmarthen a few months ago. No, I nearly said a few weeks ago. A few months ago, and they've opened a new shop. So I'm going to do an interview with the manager, the boss there, and kind of have him to pick 5 of his most best-selling records and then go from there. So that's the plan. Next week, for the live stream, Joe doesn't know, but this I'm going to surprise him on this one straight away. For next week, we've got Cam on from the Vinyl Narrative. We've got Christian from the Vinyl Sanctuary on. And we may have 1 or 2 more on. So I'm not going to give away the theme because I have no idea what the fuck it's going to be. So, yeah, from all of us, thank you to my sidekick and partner, Captain Charisma. I have my glasses. I can't read what he's got on there. Yeah, Brian, Embryonic Robot, great channel. Go and check him out. You got Curtis, Young LP Lovers, even though he's constantly on mute. And we've got Daryl, the Northern Vinyl guy, up with the polar bears. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Daryl, for making the special trip to get back on this live stream. I will put a link down below for everybody's channel. Go and subscribe. Go and check them out. They've got amazing channels. From me and Joe, we will see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Au revoir for now.
Take off, eh?
Bye. Bye.
Just a quick one, guys. Stay in the background. I will pull you back up.